On Osrc News at 7, JAMB admits to errors in 2025 UTME, orders receipts for over 300,000 candidates. Ondo State reports 27 fatalities as NCDC confirms no fewer than 700 cases of Lassa fever. United Kingdom envoy expresses concern over Nigeria's security situation. And from the foreign scene, Libya's fighting experiences calm after overnight militia clashes. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Osrc News at 7. My name is Odunayo Sawyer. We begin tonight's bulletin. The controversy trailing the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination released by Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, which is currently generating widespread public outcry. And some candidates and their parents are threatening legal action, alleging that technical glitches experienced during the exams were largely responsible for the mass failure recorded. Omori Olangweji spoke with students, their parents, and educationists to get a clearer picture of the situation.
A disturbing trend continues in Nigeria's education sector as students' performance in national examinations consistently falls below expectations. In 2024, 76% of candidates who sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) scored below 200 out of a possible 400 points. This followed a similar trend in 2023 when over 76% also scored below 200. In 2022, 78% of candidates fell below the 200-mark threshold, and in 2021, only 803 out of 1.3 million candidates, just 0.06%, scored above 300. Now, the 2025 UTME results show over 78% of candidates once again scored below 200, while 0.63% scored 300 and above. Some participants speak on their experiences during the exercise.
When I was in the exam, our computer went off like 2 times. Yes, ma'am.
The system was okay. All I did my own. The system was okay. Mama, the English, we were expecting 60 questions, but I saw 45 questions. Then we asked them that maybe they are going to bring the question back, but at the end of the day, the question was not brought back. So they asked us to end the exam once we are done.
Though I scored 90 my exam, but I was preparing something to 30 to 40, but because of my system, and I didn't see my question complete. So the exam was something. It's not that difficult, but we just thank God for the grace of God for just success for examination. But we are expecting 60 questions in English language. We saw 55. So the 5 questions we didn't know, maybe we were giving it as maybe bonus or they didn't mark it.
So what did you score?
193.
Any problem with the system?
There's nothing wrong with the system. The system is good. Yeah. It's okay.
So where did you write your own exam?
Futa, Obanla.
Here in?
Yeah, in Akure.
Okay.
One concerned parent even suggested that the entire examination be cancelled due to the widespread technical errors.
190. So I expected he should score above that because he shows serious attention. So coming back, he complained that the system was going off and the time before some questions were not complete. So to me, many of the students complained too much. So to me, if I may advise, I would have asked that maybe they should cancel it and they should receipt for it again.
A tutor based in Akure, Mr. Olushola Afu, and an education officer who spoke off camera blamed the poor performance on a mix of factors, including inadequate parental involvement, unprepared teachers, and insufficient government support, stressing that students can only excel when properly guided and exposed to the right learning environment.
The blame is not really from the student, it's from the parents, how they prepare the students for the exam. Again, the teachers. how they prepare the students for the exam. And the government need to go back to schools. Do we have ICTs, equipment in the school to train the students? Most of them are coming from secondary schools. They don't have it. Even most of them, it is when they go to lesson here and there, they begin to see all this computer office stuff. And how many lessons we train these students on how to use CBT?
We find that parents are no longer caring as supposed to be for the education of their children. Right? The teachers are not doing the right thing again. Government too are not doing the right thing. Let's speak from the government, right? The government is not doing the right thing by paying the teacher promptly and giving the right equipment for teacher to teach. How do you expect them to perform optimally? Let's now go to the student itself. Now, the economy itself, because of what the parents are facing at home, it boils down to the students. Students do not actually pay attention because of what it brings from their home.
More than 8,000 candidates have reportedly lodged official complaints over technical glitches encountered during the exam. Meanwhile, JAMB is scheduled to meet with key stakeholders in the education sector to review the results and address what it has termed unusual public complaints. Omoyola Humbeji, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has finally admitted to errors which affected the performance of students during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. At a news conference in Abuja, the registrar of the board, Professor Ishak Oloyede, said what should have been a moment of joy has changed due to one or two errors. Professor Oloyede, who wept profusely, said he took full responsibility for the negligence of its staff, revealing that 65 centers in Lagos and 92 centers in Owerri zone, covering the 5 states in the southeast, would rewrite the exam. He added that JAMB would arrange the examination for 379,997 candidates from the 157 centers.
Once again, we apologize and assure you that this incident represents a significant setback for the process. We remain committed to emerging stronger in our core values of transparency, fairness, and equity.
JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede admitting to errors which affected the performance of students across the country during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. And moving on to politics, the All Progressives Congress, APC in Ondo State, has dismissed rumors of a conflict between Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa and Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele, describing such claims as baseless and divisive. The party affirmed that both leaders remain committed to the unity and progress of the APC in Ondo and Ekiti states, emphasizing that discussions on political appointments are part of normal democratic processes under President Bola Tinubu's authority. The controversy arose after the alleged replacement of one of Governor Aiyedatiwa's nominees for the Southwest Development Commission SWDC board by Senator Bamidele, which reportedly sparked unrest among the governor's supporters. The governor had nominated Adewinle Martins and Rasak Obe for the SWDC board, but Obe's name was replaced with Olugbenga Olufayinti, the candidate allegedly backed by the Senate leader. APC Ondo State Media Director Steve Otaloro urged party members and supporters to focus on unity and collaboration rather than divisive narratives. He acknowledged that political appointments are complex and involve various considerations, encouraging respect for the governor's office and the democratic process. The party reaffirmed its commitments to working together under Governor Aiyedatiwa's leadership and supporting President Tinubu's vision, and called on all members to reject rumors and focus on the development and progress of Ondo State. The Ondo State Stakeholders Committee on Aging has congratulated Afenifere leader Pa Ruben Fashiononti on his 99th birthday. A statement by the National Senior Citizens Center (SSCC) co-chief Adeboyega Ayeni in Ondo State expressed gratitude to God for Fashiononti's long life and his valuable contributions to society. The NSCC praised Fashiononti's relentless efforts in education and his unwavering role in Nigeria's political landscape, noting that as a former teacher, administrator, and politician, Fashiononti has played a pivotal role in advancing education and championing Yoruba interests, embodying the traditional Yoruba values of service and leadership. From January to early May 2025, Ondo State has been significantly affected by the ongoing Lassa fever outbreak in Nigeria, with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (SCDC) confirming 717 cases across 18 states, including Ondo, Taraba, and others. The state alone has reported 27 deaths, contributing to the national total of 138 fatalities and a case fatality rate of 19.3%. According to the SCDC, Ondo State accounts for about 30% of the confirmed Lassa fever cases among the top 3 most affected states, alongside Bauchi and Taraba. The NCDC reports that Ondo is among the hardest hit, highlighting the widespread nature of the disease, adding that the predominant age group affected is young adults aged 21 to 30 years, with a slightly higher incidence in males. The NCDC notes a slight decrease in new confirmed cases in recent weeks, signaling some progress in containment efforts. To Oyo State, where the government has approved the sum of 4.5 billion naira as financial support to the survivors and victims of the Bodija explosion, which occurred in January 2024. This decision was taken at the State Executive Council meeting held at the Governor's office in Agodi. No fewer than 5 people died in the explosion caused by a water gel type based explosive triggered by an electric spark at a house rented by a Malian miner. The incident also saw 78 persons sustain injuries, 335 persons affected, 58 houses damaged, including 16 companies or business operators, churches, mosques, 3 schools, as well as a university college hospital. The amount is apart from the over 200 million naira that the government had expended on accommodation, feeding, hospital, and security bills following the tragic incident. We'll go on a short break. OSRC News at 7. We'll be back. Just stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. A coordinated operation by the Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun, has led to the safe rescue of 5 kidnapped victims from their abductors in different parts of the state. Commander Adetunji Adeleye confirmed that the victims abducted along the Ikare-Owo Road and Lagos-Ore Expressway were rescued without the payment of ransom or loss of life. Our reporter Abidemi Akinrotoye reports.
It was a moment of relief and triumph in Ondo State as 5 individuals regained their freedom after days in captivity, thanks to the swift intervention of the Amotekun Corps. In an emotional scene, the victims were paraded not as mere statistics in the fight against crime, but as a symbol of victory against the growing threat of kidnapping. Among them is 39-year-old Akinladun Emmanuel, who recounted how he endured brutal treatment and machete wounds victims during his 5-day ordeal in the hands of 6 kidnappers.
So I sat in front of my house outside the gate. So I was there around something 7:30
in the evening.
In the evening time. So and I did not even know that they are around the environment.
Monday till Friday, I didn't eat anything, I didn't drink anything. I was tired. Yeah. And they caught me with a lot of cutlass at the back.
Others rescued include Stanley Adeyeye, Mr. and Mrs. Olatunji Sidikat, and Olatunji Maruf. They were abducted while traveling along the Lagos-Owerri highway. Each told harrowing stories of life in the kidnappers' den.
Mi ò ló lọ́tẹ́ kidnap mi kí lè fẹ́ gbà àwọn ẹni tí dán ojú mi dán àwọn máa gbowó mo ní kò sówó kankan lọ́mí lẹ́ẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n rí àbúrò mi náà wọ́n rí ìyàwó àbúrò mi náà. a jẹ nǹkan kan lẹ́ẹ̀lẹ́nu ẹ̀gàn òun náà gbá la bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sùn wọ́n dẹ̀ sùn tí wàá bẹ̀.
Amotekun Commander Adetunji Adeleye said the successful operation was a result of detailed intelligence and community collaboration. He emphasized that no ransom was paid and that all victims were rescued on hand.
They contacted our distress call line and mobilized men to enter the forest. They were kidnapped by 4 armed men and led into the bush. But I want to tell you today that by the grace of God, Amotekun Paul has been able to recover them. Present here today, the attackers inflicted several machete cuts and wounds on him. On the day they told him he was going to be killed without, if funds were not paid, they were actually expecting us to bring the money. Told them that we were bringing 50 million naira. Went there and were able to release them without payment of 1 kobo.
Adeleye also noted that Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has commended the Corps and restated the state government's firm commitment to the protection of lives and property. He called on residents to serve as informants and partners in ongoing effort to clamp down on criminal elements, especially in areas troubled by open grazing such as Iluabo and Ilado.
We need credible intelligence from members of the public to get in touch with us on time. We cannot be everywhere every time. But once we know, like Iluabo that you are talking about, we operated around Iluabo to Ilado 5 days ago for 3 days consecutively. And all those that were destroying crops, all the cows moving towards the airport from Iluabo and the Ilado axis of the GRA were apprehended, and as we thought, 2 of them are being prosecuted.
The victims now receiving medical treatment at a government-arranged facility are recovering from the physical and emotional trauma. Meanwhile, security forces say investigations are ongoing to apprehend more members of the kidnapping syndicate. Amotekun says the operation marks another milestone in its mission to make Ondo State safe for all.
Still on security matters, the United Kingdom has voiced strong concern over Nigeria's deteriorating security situation, describing it as worrisome. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, at a forum in Abuja attributed the instability to regional spillovers from neighboring countries such as Sudan and Niger. He noted that the UK government is actively working with Nigeria's Office of the National Security Advisor and investing in security infrastructure to help mitigate the challenges. The UK reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening economic and trade relations with Nigeria through the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership, ETIP. And the Senate has confirmed the appointment of 5 resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Their confirmation followed the presentation of the report of the Committee on INEC. The Recs confirmed Umar Garba representing Kano, Saad Idris, Bauchi, and Chukwuemeka Ibeziako, Anambra. The rest are Omar Mukhtar Borno and Dr. Johnson Sinkem from Bayelsa. Moving on to global news, tense calm has returned to Tripoli, the capital of Libya, following deadly clashes between armed groups. At least 6 people were killed in the fighting, which erupted after the assassination of a prominent security official in western Libya. Akintunde Agishemola reports.
The balance of power has shifted in Tripoli, one of the largest and most powerful armed groups in western Libya, as the Stability Support Authority, or the SSA, has completely collapsed. This is after its head, Abdul Khalid Kiki, notoriously known as Gnawa, was shot and killed in a military base in southern Tripoli on Monday night. Fighting broke out across Tripoli for hours between forces loyal to the government and the SSA, leaving people scared and terrified. Flights were diverted and schools suspended, but the guns fell silent by the morning. Calm is slowly returning to Tripoli.
Any fighting or violence affects people. Civilians will die. The elderly and people who are sick will be impacted. Families are scared and will need to be evacuated. Until 3 or 4 in the morning, we were all living in fear, especially the children.
Some people say the security operations carried out by the government needed to be done.
It was a very fast operation. Clashes in the past between armed groups and the government were very chaotic, and people were filled with panic. We didn't feel that this time. It was a very professional operation. The areas of the clashes were limited.
The Ministry of Defense and Interior said it took over all SSA bases in and around Tripoli in its security operations. Warehouses full of weapons and ammunition will now be transferred to government control. Human rights groups have for years accused Gnawa and the SSA of committing human rights violations and crimes under international law, including unlawful killings and arbitrary detention of migrants and refugees, as well as torture and forced labor. 4 prison cells in an SSA base show the horrific conditions people were kept in. These migrants were freed from the base in Abu Salim, while it isn't business as usual just yet. Some people here are starting to feel comfortable enough to come out into the streets. Less than 24 hours ago, the streets of Tripoli were completely deserted. The government said the situation in Tripoli is now under control, but it's clearly tense how these new power dynamics will play out, and whether the government can take full control over other powerful armed groups in Tripoli remains to be seen. Akintunde Akinshimola, Voice House News.
And on the first stop of a 3-day visit to the Gulf, U.S. President Donald Trump has addressed the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum in Riyadh with major foreign policy announcements. He declared that American sanctions on the new Syrian government will be lifted, signaling a major shift in U.S. policy. Trump also emphasized the need to prevent Iran from advancing its nuclear program, calling for stronger regional partnerships. Blessing Obe has details.
A royal welcome of U.S. President in Riyadh, escorted by guards riding Arabian horses all the way to the royal palace. Members of the Saudi royal family and military officers lined up to greet him. Business tycoons representing the biggest U.S. tech companies, including Elon Musk, J.C. Wang, and Sam Altman, joined the long line of CEOs eager to cement trade deals. Donald Trump and Saudi-owned Prince Mohammed bin overseeing the signing of hundreds of billions of investors. They both joined the Forum of Saudi and American Business with a tour of Arabian projects. Then the main speech of the evening, Trump continued to heap praise on the Saudi-owned prince.
Mr. President, I'm confident that today we are building the foundations of cooperation and the trust between our two countries. And what we have signed today is part of a greater desire to benefit from opportunities for collaboration and
their weapon was still to be discussed after the evening's formalities concluded. The kingdom wants a security pact with the US, and Washington wants the Saudis to normalize relations with Israel. Riyadh has repeatedly said that it's off the table until a Palestinian state is established. But this day was primarily about deal-making, and the Saudis say it is money worth spending. The kingdom is looking to diversify its oil-based economy. Officials here hope deals with US will bring more American capital and advanced technology in the kingdom to help them achieve that. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
And to sports, the darling team of people of Ondo State, Sunshine Stars of Akure, will play in the lower division next season after being relegated from the Nigeria Premier Football League with one game still left to play. The team's drop from the top flight has stirred emotions and sparked interest, debate across the state and beyond. For some, it is a structural collapse, while it reflects deeper institutional failures for others. Sports correspondent Benga Uluwajano takes a look at what went wrong and what must be done to bring Sunshine Stars back to top flight action.
So, successive corners for Sunshine Stars and a great goal!
Once a team feared across the nation and beyond, Sunshine Stars Football Club of Akure carried the hopes of Ondo State rising to the semi-finals of the CAF Confederations Cup in 2011 and the CAF Champions League in 2012. 13 years after that once blazing star has dimmed, Sunshine Stars have been relegated from the Nigeria Premier Football League, a fall that fans, players and officials are still struggling to accept.
The team has been struggling for over 5 years. Every year there must be problem. Every year there must be problem. People of lax mind, including me and some other stakeholders, we come together first round and preparing for second round. When you have a team before, you cannot tell me that you have a problem in all departmental of the team. At least there must be some key area that you have the problem.
It will not happen at all because the home support will be massive. It will be massive. It's only just 18 plus, 18 supporters that will go to Djibouti. We have to charter vehicle, 18 passenger bus. Only 18 supporters that do go to Djibouti. We are very few. Even when we stand, you don't even know that people are around.
Now, calls for reform are loud and clear. Appoint a competent and committed football board, utilize the stadium in Akure going forward, ensure transparent funding and proper oversight, and rebuild thorough grassroots talent development across Ondo State.
We can concentrate more on that academy to start producing players for the Sunshine Star. What we just need is that let us get people who knows football to be at the helm of affairs in Osrc. Then let them continue to do that transition.
What the team is lacking is personnel that can do the job. We don't have. If the governor wants result, he should restructure the place and put the right people in that place.
Now we are going to Maiduguri in the next 2 weeks, in less than 2 weeks now. If the vehicle break down the way, what will happen? It's very unfortunate. The government have to bring to that and make sure they buy a new vehicle for the team if they want the team to be in a good position.
For Sunshine Stars, this relegation may feel like the end of an era, but it could also mark the beginning of a revival if the right steps are now taken. What happens next will depend not just on talent, but on the decisions made off the pitch in the critical months ahead. Winga Uluwajano, Osrc News.
Alright, before we go on the news at 7, another look at the major stories. Following complaints from stakeholders over the 2025 UTME, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced receipt for no fewer than 370,000 candidates. Nigeria's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has reported that Ondo State accounts for 30% of confirmed Lassa cases in Nigeria. United Kingdom's envoy Richard Montgomery has voiced concern over Nigeria's security situation, and he has attributed the instability to regional spillovers from neighboring countries. And from the foreign scene, we told you that there is calm all over the Libyan capital, Tripoli, after clashes between rival forces overnight over the assassination of a prominent security official. And that's it on the news at 7. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.